as is customary on the PGM Radio Show.
Talking that talk, breaking them hits from all over Nigeria. We push good music.
Today we're talking about Say No to Pay for Play, and I want to open the floor. I will start by saying I totally did not subscribe to collecting money to play music. IK, what's your point of view? I mean, I know your point of view as well, but let's start with that. How did you get onto that principle of not taking money for music? Because I'm sure you've been approached, right?
I have been approached, and I think the artists are so what's the word I'm looking for? They're so used to doling out cash that they think everybody does it.
Right.
So I have been approached several times, but not recently, because most people know my stance on it. Most people know that I'm not into this. I won't take your gifts. I won't take your money. But recently, someone who should know better, someone who, by my standard, by my opinion, should know better, and also who has a decent enough relationship with me to just say, hey, I've got new music, I'll go check it out. They're like, okay, I'm going to send you something light. I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, I'm going to send you one small 200K here. I've got this new jam out. I'm like, wait, what do you mean? What are you talking about, dude? And I was shocked by it. I was joking because it hasn't happened to me in a while, in a very, very long time. So, but it made me realize if he can be saying that to me, then he's definitely paying other radio promoters. And it means it's right there. It's right at the top. It's right everywhere.
Right.
Because that should never have happened.
True that.
That should never have happened.
True
so
that.
I think it's time that we address it.
Yeah, Eddie, what was your first contact with payola, if I may ask?
My first contact was back in the day. My first introduction to radio was a different radio station than the one I work at now.
Same here.
Exactly.
I guess the only one who's faithful to his station.
Look at that.
But it's all good. It's all good.
And it was. I think someone just asked me that. Listen, somebody wants to play something on your show. They said they'll give you something for it. I was like, what do you mean give me something? They're like, they'll sort you out. So I was like, nice. OG, I don't need anybody or want anybody to sort me out. Like, just let me listen to the music. If it's good, it plays. If it works, if not, then no.
Right.
And then I realized that clearly this was a system of how things were done, but also because I came from a different background, right? So in the legal profession, you have a code of conduct and you have professional ethics, which you have to pass to be a practicing barrister anywhere in the world. So it's drilled into you for a while anyways, that mixing, just sort of gifts with your profession is a bad idea. It almost always compromises you, whether or not you think it's doing that. So just avoid it. That's the one thing that you can't do. And in the legal profession, they'll disbar you. So for me, that's just what I took into my new broadcast profession. I was like, it's not right. It doesn't make sense. It's my job to play the music if the music works. So that's kind of my approach.
Let me share my experience real quick. My first encounter with payola actually happened this many years back. But anyway, my first encounter was that someone, first of all, you already know I'm an Igbo man. I like money. I don't deny that. I actually say it proudly that I like money. I like the hustle. Someone approached me and told me that, hey, I want to put some records on the radio, and I want you to help me also bring some of your other colleagues to play the record, right? And I'm like, okay, cool. I could do that. I'll just send it on. You're like, look, I'll give you guys something. I said, okay. Okay. I was a bit skeptical at that point. I said, you know what? Why not? But let me hear the record first. That's what I told him. Then he sent me the record. I was like, oh, man, this record can't fly. And he was like, why? I was like, listen. The problem I have is that I enjoy every song I play on my show.
Exactly.
And if the song doesn't just make sense, I may not remember to play it because I just don't enjoy the record.
You don't play it.
I just don't play it, and it's just going to be unfair to you. But I can't. He now said, "But what about your colleagues?" I said, "I can't speak about my colleagues. It wasn't this radio station, by the way. I must stress this because I had worked somewhere else for 9 years, right?" And he now said, I said, but my colleagues from other radio stations, I can talk to them if they're open to it. Fine, why not? So this guy decided to send me some money. And I spoke to those colleagues of mine, and they were like, yeah, why not? Let me tell you what hurt me the most. I sent the money to these guys, and he wasn't giving me anything because obviously I said I'm not going to play the record. And then those colleagues of mine didn't play the record.
Yikes.
And he came back at me and he cursed my life out. And I was like, you see, I just made a mental note. So you see, this is one of the reasons why I know I don't like this. It's not just even about the music anymore. The fact that when I'm on the radio and if I've designed my show to be about a certain theme, you're buzzing my ears or disturbing me and saying, "Guy, have fun." I said, no, let's not even do that.
Yeah.
So that was my first issue I had with it. And then along the line, I just also thought about it. I said, hold on a second. If this guy's offering me this much money, because that money, I had to pay him back the money. I paid him back what I even gave the colleagues. Because they wouldn't get, they've already done the job. So I had to pay him back the money, and I was like, you know what, guys, I'm washing my hands clean of this. I don't want to be a part of this. I just want to stick with enjoying my show. Now, what had happened is this guy eventually comes back like many years, like 2-3 years later, when I had come to the beat, and says, oh, he wants to, have a relationship again. I said, bro, we know where we've been with this. And let's not even do this. Like, I don't want to go down that route with you. Talk to whoever you want to talk to, but just keep me out the conversation. I will just focus on playing what I think is good music. And another thing that also turned my stomach was when I saw a great artist, I will mention his name. His name is Five Mics. He hardly does music anymore. He used to be great back in the days. And he got turned away by some radio stations for not playing his music. And let's be honest, Ike, we all know that if your record is not being played on so many stations, it's not really a hit, right? It has to be, it has to have, what do you call it, like a general circulation airplay, a circulated airplay, right? And so this is where we are now. It brings us back.
Can I chip this in? I think it goes way beyond the music. I think it has permeated our society so deep, and I will quote and I will relate an instance. So, at one of our events one of the numerous events we hold, one of the sound people came to me and was like, "Bruh, hold this." Like after the event, and I'm like, "What for?" And he's like, "No, bro, you put me on this. I want to show appreciation." I'm like, no, Baba. It was a great show. We had fun. We had good, this was like 4 episodes ago. And I was like, why? I never told you about it, but I recall it now having this conversation, and it just goes to say that it's everywhere in our society.
Okay, so I'm glad we've all touched on this, but you see, the issue is you said that we should all post. Well, you actually went ahead and you posted a video saying I don't stand for this, and the goal was to get as many on-air personalities, as myself, to also come forward if we believe in it for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer that pay for play will destroy the industry in the long run if it continues like this. I want to argue this case real quick. I want to just make the point real quick before we actually go into how we can solve this problem or how we can address it.
Yeah.
This is what happens. It's almost like a circle of life. If you take money to play music and turn away music because no money is being given to you, automatically whatever song you are taking is no more being judged by its quality, but by how much you have been given. Personal gratification, right?
That's right.
We got Dan Foster in the building. I'm gonna bring him on in a bit. Yeah. And if that continues where everybody's doing that, chances are we're gonna have more, excuse my language, whack music or crap music than the good ones coming in. Now, I know a lot of my colleagues have enormous pride in this profession called OAP or broadcaster. I pride in it a lot when it's a thing of joy for me and of honor. And there's a code of conduct which I think has eroded to a large extent. Yeah, it's evaporated, and we need to sort of draw our attentions back to what is really important in life. Okay, the two most important things is the content that we put out on the radio. Without great music, without great music, there's no without great content, there's no reason to have a radio show or to have radio. And when I say content, it could even be
it could be
anything.
news, it could be anything.
Right?
Yeah, I understand.
So that's one of the things that I'm always concerned of, and I know I like to just focus a bit more on how I like to see things, but I feel to a large extent that if we are able to just play our part and play good music, the industry will become quite competitive and artists will grow in their craft because they have to improve the quality of their music.
They have to meet the standards.
Not just meet the standards, but improve in the quality. If you look at the quality of music that has evolved 2 years ago and now, there's a sharp difference, you know? And that's just that's how I feel. But anyway, you want to say something?
No, I was just going to say that I think that's very important to note. But even beyond that, and maybe this is again, everyone can only see things from their perspective, right? Mm-hmm. And I tend to see a very large picture of how we're viewed as Nigerians in the world, how we view other Nigerians. I mean, why would we complain about politicians collecting extra money? Why would we complain about policemen collecting money, the crooked ones that do? Why would you mention any of that if you're going to collect money on the side to do what is your job,
right?
Fundamentally. And I'm just looking at it from a very legal, very practical standpoint, and looking at what it does when you accept things like that. You could decide to accept, if I'm going to accept money to play music, why don't I just accept money to put in certain types of news into the newspapers, which again, if you look at what we have coming out sometimes in the news, you can tell sometimes you're like, well, something happened over here. So it's a real concern because it talks to the fabric of who we are as people and who we want to be. Do we want to stay in this place where people around the world use us as jokes when it comes to 419? I mean, what was the last time you traveled and someone made a horrible...
Like, are you a rich Nigerian prince?
I'm like, it's not funny. You know, I mean, like, I work very hard. I work very honestly. And I spend my hard-earned money doing this. But you're fighting this horrible reputation that we have created for ourselves. Nobody else gave us this reputation. It's us.
True.
So if you say you want a better place, you want a better this, you're so quick to point fingers. That one has not done this. That one has not done this. But look at yourself. If you are willing to be paid to compromise your set of standards, whatever they may be, in whatever professional job you have, you need to just take a step back and just say, this God I'm serving, is this the way it's supposed to go?
Right.
And here's my thing, right? I don't know that I'm ever going to be interested in running for politics.
Yeah.
So in terms of a global scale or a national scale or a statewide scale, I may not affect policy or change, like big things in Lagos. All right. So, I mean, apart from with my vote, I'm picking a governor or picking a president. I don't see that I'm going to do that on that level, at least not today.
But you never know.
I don't feel that way.
Right.
But I am in a society with other radio presenters, with musicians, and I have a role to play here, So I just thought to myself, you know what? Instead of sitting down and just complaining about, the ruling party, the opposition and politicians, and this person should come out and do this, and these people should not do that, on that level where it's far away from me, right? How about I stop pointing fingers, right? And I just look at where I am and see how I can change things in my own society.
Right.
Try to do better.
Right.
And just try to be a better person.
Absolutely.
www.pgmclub.com